You're listening to the Ramblin' Matt Ramage podcast.
Let's go!
All right, what's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. We are here with the Underage Packers podcast crew. I think you guys just do a great job. This is Joey the Jaguar. We got Big B, but everyone I've been talking about a little bit. Everyone on Twitter, obviously, Big B is going through some stuff with cancer. I don't know how to say it, but how is that going? First of all, like I've heard people say that it's looking good. The doctors are saying good things.
Yeah, the doctors are impressed of how great I'm doing so far.
Just that much of a beast.
Impressed.
Yeah, that's good to hear. And I've seen like so many Packer fans, like insane, like some big people who are better than me. I've really shown love, and like the Packer fans like came out and just supported you. How does that feel?
It's overwhelming, and it's just insane to know how many people actually care, like a little bit,
Yeah, I was just talking about like we're good friends with Wes Hockwood, so that's a little crazy.
Yeah, that is awesome. Like that, you get to. I mean, obviously not for this situation, why? But like, how many people have reached out? And I'm sure because you're podcasters, so you that's gonna make you better by talking to people who do it really good.
Yeah, I mean, there's especially since we started doing this, and really just our online personalities really a few months ago, right around the draft time, and now all those people that kind of seemed like these godlike figures are now people that we can always talk to.
Yeah, it's good, and obviously everyone is rooting for you. Like I was talking about it at work with some people, and like it's just awesome how everyone's rooting for you, and it's great to hear that you're doing well, and we'll move on and talk some Packers, but I'm pumped for you. I'll be rooting for you the whole way, man.
Thanks, man.
So, like, about your Underage Packers podcast, like, how did you start that? Like, how did this all come up? Because I really do. I'm not just saying that. I think it's really good because I did your show.
Yeah.
My wife had me out shopping all day, and I was talking about this, I think, when Corey Benke was on, and I felt like I did horrible because I was out shopping all day, and then I was like, I got to get back. I got to do this podcast.
Yeah.
So I got back just in time to do it, and I was exhausted because I was stuck in traffic for like over an hour. So like when I did your podcast, I was like, dude, I was like a zombie. So I always thought I was like, I did horrible, and you guys were so good. Like I didn't expect because I seen you guys on Twitter and stuff, but I didn't really watch a full podcast or whatever. But you guys are really good. So how did you guys get started with this?
Yeah, so me and Big B, we've actually been friends on really just Instagram for a few years now. We coincidentally met without knowing each other in 2018 minicamp. We were talking to each other the whole day there, and then we find out that we've been following each other on Instagram for a few months. We talked together in DMs. A few weeks ago, I found me in like 2018 asking him to start a podcast with me. That never went anywhere. But then this year rolls around, we're bored during quarantine, and we start something up because we just love talking about Packers together in DM. So and we last year before each game we did a pregame live stream. So we just wanted to do something, have a little bit more of an audience to talk Packers. And then, ever since then, we've been doing 2 episodes a week. And I mean, even when we're not talking on the episodes, we do a lot of Zooms together, and just have a fun time talking to each other.
Yeah, dude, I think you guys do such a great job, especially for your like. How old are you guys?
I'm 15.
14.
All right, yeah, because I was talking about, I was like, I think they're like 15, but that when I was 15, there's no way I would be doing anything like this. I was getting in trouble, but so let's talk about some football. So hey, first of all, no, before this, I want to talk about Big B. You got a chance to talk to Jamal Williams on the Game on Wisconsin thing, right?
Yeah.
So how was that? I didn't get to see it because I got some situations going.
Well, it went amazing, but I was like freaking out the entire day. I was sweating. I was like, oh my God, this is actually happening. And then it went great. It went Went a lot better than I thought it was. And I did not freeze. I did not pause or anything. So I thought it was good.
Yeah,
I told them. I told them the day before. I want you to do good, but I'd be lying if I said if you freeze and you just leave. I would be laughing.
Yeah, that helped my confidence a lot too. Thanks.
Yeah, Jamal's the man. He's the one person that I never talked to him on a podcast. I don't believe. But I've chatted with him and I've seen every video, every time he talks, he just seems like the coolest guy. So I think most of these guys, they're just regular people. They're just having fun. So I'm not going to say I never froze on a podcast talking to a player, but not because I was so nervous, oh my God, this person, because I actually, it was Tim Boyle where I froze. So, but it was just mostly because I wasn't prepared. I had a brain fart. I went to ask the next question. My brain just said, no, I'm done. But but he was awesome about it. He actually helped. I'm like, I don't know, what do I do? Because I wasn't live. I think live I wouldn't have, because live it's more, but doing a podcast, it's just different. But that was the only time where actually my brain just shut off. But I think Jamal would be, he makes everyone comfortable that talks to him. But we'll get in some Packers now. All right, so where the season is, the Packers are top the NFC. It's looking good, but a lot of Packer fans are nervous, what's going to happen, because this Colts team coming up is, I think, one of the most legit teams that they face. And last week they beat the Jaguars, but it wasn't as convincing as a lot of fans have wanted it to be. To me, it's a W's W, but obviously there's some concerns with the defense, stop and run, especially coming up this week. What do you guys think, as they stand today, about the Packers?
Yeah, I was going to make a YouTube video about this tomorrow. It's, the idea that a win is a win. It can satisfy you for, a few days after the game. But at some point you look back at that, and especially when you're a team like the Packers that isn't, every year you should be a dominant playoff contender. When you play a game like that, it's not your best performance. You want to play better, and you want to have more in that in your mind. When you see these other teams, you want to be like the 49ers of last year. You want to be like the Buccaneers of this year. You want to be satisfied more. And I think that's where a lot of the so-called negative fans had an issue with.
Oh yeah. So what do you think, Big B?
Well, I look at it you can't have a perfect week every week. You can't score 50 points every week. But, I really don't know. It's one of the – I don't know.
It's kind of like last year, where we're just waiting. We're waiting to find out the identity of this team.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and I think this week will be huge, because I think obviously the Buccaneers game was a big test and didn't go well. But the Buccaneers are on and off or whatever. But I think the Colts is a big test, because I don't know a lot about the Colts. I was watching some ESPN today. They have a rookie running back, I believe, that's balling out. But it'll be a big test. But I'm the most optimistic fan. People get mad at me. People call me a cheerleader because I don't bash the team, and I don't. But I think like last year, nobody expected the Packers to do what they did. Mm-hmm. And Herm Edwards, I don't know if you guys remember him. He was before your time, I think. But he was a coach of the Colts, actually. I think he coached a few teams. But then he was on ESPN for a while. Anyways, he used to say, just get to the playoffs. That's all you got to do, is get to the playoffs. Yeah. And then whoever gets hot, how many teams made it to the Super Bowl, the Giants and all these teams and the Packers even in 2010, that nobody thought was going to do anything. You get to the playoffs, you go on a run, you get hot. Maybe the defense starts stopping run, because you got to be able to stop the run in the playoffs, especially. But I think that's the Packers' one thing. If they can fix that, I think this team could be unstoppable.
Yeah, and exactly. I think you bring up a good point there, and just a lot of the talk of the town really recently is a Super Bowl team doesn't do this, especially after the Buccaneers game. And I don't agree with that. I mean, I think a Super Bowl team would probably beat them, but there's not a set formula, not a set standard for a Super Bowl team. All a Super Bowl team has to do is get in the playoffs and win 4 games.
Yeah, and so I seen that Devonta Adams is on the injury report. I've used, I haven't been on internet last couple of days, but where did this ankle injury come from? Was it from the game, have you heard, or is this a practice thing?
Yeah, so he went out I believe during the second or third quarter he went out with that injury, and he even powered through it though. So
yeah, I do remember that now. Now that I think about it. Yeah, that game seems like it was 3 weeks ago. But so what are people on Twitter saying? Like the experts is what are they thinking? Is Devonta, like, I know that nobody knows for sure, obviously, but how are the reporters thinking about it?
I think what I've really seen is, especially from Matt LaFleur's press conferences, Devonta Adams they're not feeling good about, and certainly Allen Lazard they're not feeling too good about him playing this week. So we could have MVS as wide receiver 1 this week.
Okay, that would be bad. I'm not no knock at MVS, but you don't want, dude. The Packers have survived by having either Devonta or Lazard. When Devonta was down, Lazard was there. And I was hoping to have them both back, but yeah, if that happens, that's going to be tough. But we got a running game. We can hope. Like I said, I don't know a lot about the Colts. I think they have really good defense. Yeah. So I think that this week that's going to be a tall order. What do you think, Big B?
About what?
About this week. If Devonta doesn't play and Lazard doesn't play.
Yeah, I think we're kind of screwed, just a tiny bit. But I still have confidence. All right, I still have confidence in our wide receiver core, no matter what happens.
I have confidence too, like just as a team, because I think when one position goes down, gets some injuries, other guys have to jump in. But one thing I saw this week is what is it? They're trying to screw over the Vikings on a pick. I think it's the Jaguars. Do you know about this, Joey?
Yeah,
explain this, because I know a little bit, but you probably know more.
Yeah, so the compensatory picks, I didn't even know about this, but the Pro Bowl. So apparently, the Vikings, they traded for Yannick Ngakoue, and the compensatory picks, if Yannick Ngakoue makes a Pro Bowl, instead of a 5th rounder, the Vikings have to give up a 4th rounder. So, it's a slight downgrade, but anything to screw with the Vikings.
Yeah, I've seen that, and I've seen that they're trying to share it with all the other fan bases. I was getting tagged in it. I'm probably going to share it, but I'm going to talk about it, because anytime you can screw over the Vikings, it is you just got to do it.
Old enough. Yeah. It was a Jaguars fan on Reddit. He was just he knew he could get some Packers, Lions, and Bears fans around him.
And I think the Pro Bowl voting just started, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think I haven't checked this, but I know I heard someone say that they actually removed Yannick from the online Pro Bowl voting. So I guess they saw, but hopefully they fix that.
Well, I think that happens like everywhere with Pro Bowl, though. Like if you're a Lions fan, and you're going through your Pro Bowl picks, you're just gonna pick against the Packers, or whatever team that you don't like. If your guy ain't there, if you're a Lions fan, you don't have a lot of people there. So like same with like the Vikings probably this year. I don't know who's all there, whatever. But I think it happens every year. But when it's orchestrated, that just makes it so much better.
Yeah.
To me.
Especially when it has a real effect, and it shouldn't be too long until the Vikings have hired bots to vote against Yannick. Yeah,
I think that like the Pro Bowl, I like that it's voted by fans, but I don't think that it should be part of like contracts, because like there's certain guys like, oh, you'll get this big bonus if you make the Pro Bowl, but it's like voted by fans, and a lot of times it's a year late. So like if a wide receiver blows up one year, does good, so a lot of times he doesn't make the Pro Bowl, but the next year he will, because then people hear his name for a year, like, all right, he must be good. So I don't know. I like that it's voted by fans, but I don't like that. I mean, I don't know. It's not my money, but I just think that they shouldn't put their contract stuff in with it. I don't think it's fair to the players.
Yeah, it's a lot of a popularity contest, and I agree with you. It should be much more of an all-pro over the Pro Bowl.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I totally agree. I should be all-pro, because that's right. Like they do it usually. Sometimes you see some snubs, but so let's talk about the NFC North. Like, how do you see it? Like I said this a while back that the Bears were going to fall off. I looked at the schedules. I think the Bears were 5-1 at the time. I said they're going to go on a skid. Packers are going on a little streak here because the Packers schedule obviously got easier. They had a bump, but what do you see happening? Do you think that two teams can come out of the NFC North and go to the playoffs?
I'll let Big B take this one first.
Ooh, take it me. I could see it happening, but I don't think it's happening. I don't see the Bears making it. Vikings, they could still go on that run, but they suck anyway. They'll blow it somehow.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah, the Vikings have to go on an impressive stretch. Now we'll see. I would love. My heart might not love it, but the storylines would love it to see the NFC North come down to Week 17 against the Bears.
Yeah, I think as far as like the Vikings going to the playoffs, I think it's gonna be tough because the Bucks, the Cardinals, like there's a lot of teams at NFC that are sitting like in a good position. It's gonna be. I know that they're talking about adding an extra playoff. I don't know what's going on with that, if that's even gonna happen. But they're talking about that. But I think it's going to be tough for that last playoff spot, that wild card spot. I think it's going to be tough because there's going to be a lot of teams in that race.
Yeah, and you look at there's the NFC East will probably throw up one, but there's a lot of tough divisions. With us, we'll see what happens with the Vikings and the Bears this final stretch. But then you got the NFC South, which I could really see throwing in 3 playoff teams.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying is like it's going to be tough. Like if they get 3 playoff teams and the Vikings ain't gonna. I mean, if the Vikings win out, like they go run the table. I seen Viking fans say, "I'm like, yo, first of all, don't be using our hashtag. All right,
Exactly.
Run the table as a Packers thing." I seen a Vikings fan do it, and I was don't get your own shit. All right,
Yeah.
But I just don't see it because, like Big B said, I think the Vikings will find a way to screw it up. I mean, if you can stop their run and just completely shut it down. Obviously, Packers didn't do that, but if other teams figure that out, Kirk Cousins isn't going to beat you. Like he's not going to be slinging it down the field. And the Bears, to me, are basically dead. They have no quarterback. I heard that they were working out Deshaun Kaiser. I don't know.
Legend. Packers legend.
Yeah. I would love to see him have to walk into a locker room with Khalil Mack. That would be quite the conversation.
Yeah, it's just like the Bears quarterback situation is like throughout the years, it's what they do. Like they ruin quarterbacks. Like if you have a career and you come to Chicago, it's done. And not that Deshaun Kaiser does, but I have no hate for him. Like he did what he did in Green Bay. It didn't work out or whatever. But like he ain't the answer. Like they're not winning with Deshaun Kaiser. They're not winning with. I don't think any of the quarterbacks they have now. They're all hurt, and I don't even know who that guy that came in at the end of the game. I'd never heard of him before, but I let him start. I don't know. They're on a bye this week though, right?
Yeah, and then we got them next week on Sunday night, so that should be interesting.
Hopefully, they don't figure it out.
Yeah.
So going off the Packers a little bit, because this is what I was texting with my brother-in-law about this, about the Patriots and Brady. So was it Bill Belichick that the reason they won so much, or is it Brady, or do you think it was a combination of both?
I mean, I gotta say, the reason Brady had success for so long was probably you gotta go with Belichick. But I mean, not many quarterbacks have the opportunity to have a coach that good that they can keep them all throughout their career. So I think a little combination of both, but definitely a lot more needs to be given to Belichick.
Oh yeah, I think so too. I think, and I did not even hate on Brady because I think Brady's a great quarterback. He did, great things there, and he's still obviously doing some things. But Belichick is just so good, and I get like they're not having the best season right now. But I think Brady kind of knew that was coming with the cap hit and all that. I think he was like, "It's good." They might have had some drama. Remember, everyone was talking about Aaron Rodgers, Mike McCarthy drama.
Oh.
Brady and Belichick could have been over there laughing, like if they only knew. They might have had their own. And I'm not gonna like spread gossip about they had drama or whatever. But I would bet, and I've heard some stuff that they weren't the happiest with each other. But I think that Belichick is like since Vince Lombardi the best to do it, and you can't even compare him because I don't think you can compare like those decades.
Okay.
Like those, but
you're gonna get Big B in a hurry. He hates the Don Hudson and Devonta Adams comparison.
Oh yeah, and I say the same thing. I don't like when you compare like anyone. You can't compare Bart Starr to Aaron Rodgers or anyone, even in the 80s. Like the game changed so much. You can't change. It. What? So let me know, Big B. What do you think about that?
It's just frustrating sometimes, It just gets on my nerves. Of course, I always say that like the older players are better because I like history. and I love them all. But I'm getting tired of it. Getting tired.
Oh, I think like Ray Nitschke, like back in the day, like he would just pick people up and throw them down.
Yeah.
Like obviously, most of what he did now, he'd probably get kicked out of the league. But like those guys back then, like at a disadvantage of what the guys have now, is the guys now have like the best training in the world. They have the best doctors. They have all these things. Like back then, a lot of those guys worked at the lumber yard or whatever, and then came to play on. I mean, depending on what year you're talking, but a lot of those guys didn't have those big contracts, so they I don't know how it was in the 60s exactly if they were, but anyways, I remember hearing stories about the guys like before that, like they'd go to work and they'd come to practice.
Yeah.
And but like you can't compare them. The rules have changed, the training part has changed, but like those guys back then were just animals. Like they just, I don't know how they didn't get hurt like every week. They barely had a helmet on. They're basically wearing a beanie.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I mean, you look back at Bart Starr clips, and he's doing the weirdest 3-step drop I've ever seen. So, it's pretty hard to compare two of those guys.
Yeah, like someone just mentioned here, but can you compare Starr to Favre? Like I wouldn't compare Starr to Favre. I don't think that you can compare. Like they didn't throw the ball as much back then. They didn't like Bart Starr is calling his own plays. Like I got no hate for Brett Favre. Like that's another thing I'll touch on real quick. I posted it. I think I talked about this before, but like whenever someone talks about Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers, they always have to bash like the other one.
Yeah.
Like you can like them both. Like I remember Brett Favre when he first came up. I'm that old. Okay. Like I remember being mad when Brett Favre came up because I love Don Mikowski, like Magic Man. I had the little 7 jersey. The 7 was peeling off. We used to go outside in our snowsuits, have the jersey on over, and go play football at halftime. And so I loved the Magic Man. And then Brett Favre came up, and we used to make jokes like, "Oh, if Don Mikowski was in, he would have done this better." And like, and then after a little bit, we're like, "All right, this guy's actually pretty good." And then we jumped on that wagon. But but like you can love them both. Like I always see this whenever Brett Favre like says something, not even some of the crazy stuff he said, but like. But whenever they mention him, everyone says, "Oh, he's better than Aaron Rodgers," blah, blah. And then the other way, no, Aaron Rodgers better. Like, dude, you can just love them both. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, and especially there's just so much. I really, the QB comparisons at some point get old. And especially, the different systems are so different. I mean, I'm not an expert on Mike Holmgren's system as much as I am on McCarthy's. But two different systems, two totally different playing styles. So, I mean, I couldn't tell you which one is better because all I've watched of Brett Favre is highlights in Super Bowl 31.
Yeah, and I think I'm not an expert either, but he was like when Favre was doing this thing, they were like creating that offense, not like creating it from scratch because it was a West Coast offense. They did it in the Niners and stuff, but a lot of that lingo like that he used to make jokes about, like he didn't plan on playing because he was like they were making up all the like audibles and all that stuff, and Brett Favre would just throw out crazy words, not realizing that someday he'd be the one calling those audibles. But so do you guys play fantasy football? Someone was asking about fantasy football here.
Oh yeah.
I don't play. I'm going to start next year. I was going to start this season. I should have, but I'm going to start next year. I'm going to do a whole fantasy football show. So who are some guys? Because I see people asking about. A lot of people ask me to talk about on my stuff. So who are some guys, like let's say for the Packers or anywhere else that you think is like a must start?
Big B, do you have anybody in mind?
I suck at fantasy football. Robert Tonyan.
Ooh, I mean, I have Tonyan. I just dropped Williams last week mainly because Jones came back. But I mean, I think so. Far as I don't know anything about it. I don't watch any of those shows. It's crazy how many people get into it. But I will tell you, draft Devonta Adams because he's on my team. I got 20 points on him. I know you probably can't sign him at this point in the season, but Devonta Adams is the man.
Yeah, and I think like what Big B said about Tonyan, like this week, I don't play fantasy. I used to back in the day. I retired on top. I won a Super Bowl and went off in the sunset. But
just like John Elway.
Yeah, I'm gonna come back though. But I think Tonyan will be a big one because if they don't have no receivers, like he's gonna get a lot more looks, and he's been balling out on his own right. And like he had a nice streak going there. Then it didn't, whatever, it's ended. But yeah, I think he'd be a good one. I think MVS, like he's gonna get a lot of looks. I mean, if you're looking at Packer play, I'm sure around the league you could probably find someone else. I don't know. I think I think Aaron Jones is, even both of them like this week. I think if they're without their top wide receivers, like they're gonna have to have some kind of game plan. Like it's gonna be a lot of run, a lot of screens, probably a lot of short passes. Try to get MVS deep. Like I think that could be the game plan. On the floor, hit me up.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see a lot of tight end involvement this week. I love me some Jay Sternberger, Robert Tunyon, tons of Funyon, man. Robin, I love your suggestion to start me at tight end. I'm not sure I have the correct body type, but I would love it.
Yeah, and people always hit me up. They tag me because if you've seen that video I made when I was like pretending to coach Jamal Williams.
Oh yeah, great.
People always tag me in that, and they're like, "Hey, you could start." Like, no, dude. Like that was a joke, but that's about as realistic as it is. I'd fall down 20 yards, boom. I probably couldn't even run 20 yards. I'm not running 20 yards soon. But so going away from that, like, what about this defense? So obviously the defense has to step up, stop the run. But we got Alexander. I think he has full participation. Kevin King. So do you think that this defense is going to step up and stop him this week?
God, I hope. I mean, I Jonathan Taylor, I know a lot of Wisconsinites' feelings are going to be hurt this week. But, I'd love just to keep the offense in the game, I guess, because it's definitely going to be a tough on both sides. Yeah,
and Phillip Rivers, he'll throw you some picks. Like I like Phillip Rivers, but he slings it. He's got a little Brett Favre in him. He's out there slinging it. So if they can get a 1, 2, 3, hopefully, then really put the offense in position to get some of these easier touchdowns and keep the ball out of their hands. That's what they got to do. And obviously stop the run. Like I'm sure that's all they yell in those meetings, stop the run. But you got some corners back. I think, because Phillip Rivers, like Phillip Rivers, I haven't watched a lot of Colts games this year, but a Phillip Rivers team isn't just going to pound the run. Like they're not going to sit there. And that's the thing too about getting up quick is not letting them run, make them throw. But Phillip Rivers can beat you. Like I don't care who you got back there. Like Phillip Rivers can sling, but he also has those games when he just throws picks. So I think that it's there. I think it's going to be a very, very tough game, especially if Devonta and Lazard ain't there. Like I'd be very, very concerned as a Packer fan.
Yeah, and you can't compare the Chargers and the Colts, but look no further. Phillip Rivers was able to absolutely torch us last year. I don't remember too much from that game, thankfully, but there was just we were really stagnant on defense, and he was just able to expose every part of us.
Yeah, I think a lot of times the Packers have been coming out and like looking a little bit flat. Like even last week, they looked like, I don't know. I think a lot of it has to do with the fans not being there. I think that really jacks them up. It's like me with a few beers. My podcasts are just a little bit better. I got a little more energy, but excuse me. But I think no fans being there, especially at home, like someone mentioned, like on the road, they expect they don't expect it. They're not looking for fans to pump them up because they know it's gonna be quiet. But at home, I think it's just different. I think it's just off. So I think it's hard for them to pump themselves. I think they're pumped up. I think they're motivated. I think they're prepared. But just something's missing. I think that's the fans. What do you think?
Big B, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this because I haven't talked to you since that Jaguars game. So,
what was the question?
why has the team been coming out flat?
Yeah.
Hell, I don't know. Something's wrong with them. But I think it's the fans not at Lambeau. Like, I hate making excuses for team sucking sometimes, but when
when you get to the third quarter and it just gets so old at a point, back in the Mike McCarthy days, my dad always used to say, oh, they're not a first quarter team. But at this point, when they don't come out in the first quarter, it's a pretty good sign of what's to come.
Oh, yeah. And like back in the Holmgren days, remember people used to say that the Packers were a second half team for like whatever period of time. I don't remember the years exactly. But if the Packers were in the game at halftime, like, all right, it's a W. Even if we were losing by 7, because Favre would come out and the defense, Packers back then had such a great team, but they were known as like a second half team. A lot of times they were so dry in the first half, second half they come out swinging. But this, like right now, I don't think it's just the Packers. It's not an excuse. I think it is the fans, and I don't make excuses. Like if the Packers lose, they lose. Like I don't go on the internet and be like, oh, it's because the refs or because this happened or whatever. Like I'll bitch about the refs every now and again if they're like doing horrible. But like at the end of the game, I'm not stacking excuses like a Vikings fan. It is what it is. But I think that no fans being at Lambeau is a huge thing, and I don't think there's gonna be fans at Lambeau for the rest of the season. Like I'm hoping there is next year. Like they need to get a grip on this thing. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's not so much blaming the fans, but I mean Zadarius and Preston Smith, who can get really electric when they love the fans there. So and those guys really, I mean, Z has he's still on his greatness, but Preston has undoubtedly fell off a little bit here. So having those fans at Lambeau would definitely help us.
Yeah, I think that the pass rush is like key. Really, it's just not there. You're not seeing, and like there was plays that you see Preston in coverage. Like I don't know, I heard that it was about the same as last year. So like, but I don't know, there's something's missing. So like, I see a lot of people dogging on Mike Pettin. Like, do you think he's a problem, or do you think it's just like they're out of funk? I don't even know.
Big B, what do you think?
What do you think?
I mean, I will say I don't think we should fire him in middle of season. But as for definitely after this year, I think as far as him being the problem, I would say a little bit of both, but mostly Pettin is to blame. Yeah, I think especially if the defense just isn't performing, but then there's plenty of clips for the average guy like us three where we can see we got the 3-man rushes here on 1st and 20. It's a little concerning.
Yeah. I think that I agree. I would never fire a coach. I didn't during the season. I didn't agree with him firing McCarthy during the season. I think it does nothing for the team unless like you have a decent record, but like there's one spot that's just like you're just horrible, and then maybe it can help the season. But if like the Packers when they fired McCarthy, like that season was over. So anyways, so I don't think it would improve the Packers team this year to fire him mid-season. But like what you said, like some stuff you see like you wouldn't do in Madden. It's like the 3-man rushes, like you can see it on TV. Like a lot of people I've seen, like ESPN and people who are smarter than me talk about it, who are saying that it's predictable. Like they know, like the offense knows like what's happening. So unless you have like a crazy and athletic play, like they're gonna get on you. And like this year we haven't got those turnovers. Like that was a big thing with the Packers. Bend but don't break, and get it. The turnovers just haven't been there. So.
Yeah, and I think to your point about being predictable, I mean, defense is a little bit harder to tell, but you could see in the 2018 McCarthy offense, his last few years there, you knew what play was coming in every situation. 3rd and 15, it's probably going to be a screen to Adams or Jones. He's only going to let Jones run 5 times a game, and obviously defense, like I said, is a little bit harder to see the tendencies. But I can always tell, 3rd and 8, he's probably going to get him right over the middle without anybody in his face.
Yeah, it's just frustrating. Like as a fan, like when you can see it, and I'm an idiot. So like, if I can see it, like I know this coach on the other side and these players who studied him all week, can see it. So like, yeah, they either the scheme has to change or the coordinator has to change, and I think that they will. I mean, I don't think that they're just going to settle if this defense doesn't pick it up. I think there's going to be a lot of changes next year. A lot of players that are here might not be, and that's the way it is. So, what do you think, Big B? Like, what do they got to do? Do you think do they got to change scheme? They got to change coordinator? What they got to do? I'm stuck.
Yes, I think they should do both.
Yeah. So, like, I heard people talk about this going away from a 3-4. Possibly going to a 4-3, but doing that, like it takes a lot. Because I remember when the Packers were a 4-3 defense and they switched to 3-4, they had to let guys go. They tried getting Aaron Campman to play linebacker, it didn't work out. He was a really good player, but it just didn't work out. So like you have to like draft for that for a minute. So, but the defense is not like, you know what I mean? Like right now, I don't know what they'll decide, if they'll decide that, but who would you guys like to see if they did fire Mike Patton? Who would you like to see come in?
I know a lot of people, and I even see somebody in the chat, Dan Quinn is a popular one just because, you know, everybody knows him. And I wouldn't be too opposed. We'll see, you know, what LaFleur would think. I know he has that connection to Dan. I mean, he probably wouldn't be my first option, and it would probably take me into the off season to see exactly who's out there. But right now, I wouldn't be too mad with Mike Smith, our linebackers coach, taking over.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I don't know, like, who would be available, because you could name names all you want. People always name names like that, like Rex Ryan. Like, he's on TV, and I think he's doing all right there.
Yeah,
and like he was a great defensive coach, like back in his day. Like, he had his moments, but like I think there's a lot. It really depends. Like, I'm not smart enough to answer that question, because like I don't know, like who. Like, it depends, like what scheme you want. Like someone said right here, defenses use like a lot of different concepts now anyways. Like, they're not strictly 3-4, they're not strictly 4. They're like they bounce around in and out. But I don't know who it would be. Like, Big B, do you have any guys in mind?
Well, I love my boy Jim Leonard from Wisconsin. I love that guy. I like that idea.
Dom Capers, the return.
Oh God, I can't take it. No. I don't know if it can get any worse than Mike Patton, but I don't need a return of that.
No, we definitely don't need a return of that. So you guys think that the Packers are going to pull it off this week? You guys want to give a prediction?
Oh boy,
I don't. It's hard to give a prediction on this game. Like, I'm not even sure I can, because like I think it's gonna be. I don't know. I'll let you talk, and I'll disagree with you.
I think it'll go one of two different ways. There'll either be a Colts blowout. I don't think there's any way this is Packers blowout, especially with Adams and Lazard out. So it's either going to be a Colts blowout, which I'll say 45-18. And then if it's a close game, either we will come out on top close or the Colts will. If we get the win, I think it'll be around 24-17.
Yeah, and I think that's like how the Packers have been like this season. It's like we win or we get blown out. It's like, and I don't know. I just think that once, like, even with the Packers, if the Packers are slinging it, like a lot of their wins when they have big leads and they end up kicking the hell out of them, it's because we have these leads, and then the running game, that like their running game is done. So now that just benefits the Packers. So I think the same thing happens to the Packers when they get up on us. It's like I don't know, like they stop the run. They kind of like they're all over the place. It just doesn't end well. So I agree with that. I think it's either going to be close and the Packers win maybe by a little, or it could possibly just be another one of those games. But it is away. Like, they've been playing good away. I think it's away, right? It's in the Colts. So like maybe the Packers are fired up, but I just think it might be a tall order if Devonta is gone and Lazard's not there. That offense, like, they have a good defense over there from what I hear. I think it's a really tall order to be all cocky and be like, no, we still got it. We're going to win by 30. Because that's what I say every week. Packers by 30. I won't say it this week. But I hope that, you know, they got a good game plan. They can do some stuff. But, like, this is going to be this is the toughest game, I think, of the season so far. Like, looking ahead, like, just the fact that Devonta and Lazard is out. I don't care who you're playing, dude. That's going to be tough. What do you think, Big B?
All right. So I said this, last night on the Freezer podcast. There we go. My brain's not working. Packers will win 31-27.
All right. I like that. Yeah, I think it would be like right in that scoring range. Because when the Packers win, they put up points. Like, I've seen people talk, well, they're going to win 17-3. Like, Packers don't score 17 unless they get blown out. Like, if I just don't see it. But yeah, I think it could go either way. Like, I'm no genius, but I think that they can do it. Like, if they're motivated, and sometimes when you got the most injuries is when you find the most heart, and then the defense steps up, man. But like, they have to get at Phillip Rivers. Like, on these passing downs, like, they have to get in his face. They have to knock him down. Like I always say, make him remember your name, you know?
Yeah.
Like Preston Smith, Darius Smith, whoever. get in his face, knock his ass down, and make him look out for you next time.
Yeah, and that's what we've been looking for every time. We've had a rough stretch this season of veteran quarterbacks. I mean, Kirk Cousins isn't on the same level as Drew Brees or Tom Brady, but he's still up there in age. He knows his way around the league, and we haven't been able to get any pressure. In that Tampa Bay game, we lost by 28. The only one time I think we got in the pocket was Rashawn Gary's face mask penalty.
Yeah. You can't let a quarterback just sit back there having picnics. Like,
yeah,
especially these older quarterbacks. Well, it's funny that we talk about older quarterbacks because I remember Phil Rivers getting drafted. So like I remember being young like you guys, and like everyone, like you really don't remember like the great players, like the older players getting drafted.
Mhm.
Like I now as an old person, like I remember players getting drafted, watching their whole career, then retiring, then sometimes like their son will come up in the draft.
yeah.
But they definitely have to get in the face. They have to put pressure. I think our secondary is going to be more healthy, so I think that'll help. Maybe get some picks. But they got to do better than they did last week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think he has to be. You look back, Big B's Big Three on our YouTube channel. Every single week, I look back at them and like, especially this week against Jaguars and our 2 losses. Whatever we needed to do, we didn't do. So they just need to listen to Big B.
Yeah, like you should probably just send him a video and they'll be play it right there in a pregame.
Yeah, I'll just DM Matt LaFleur. He's it's DMs are always open.
Yeah, he's on the Twitter, so you got to DM. He won't respond to me. I don't know.
We have our
sure.
connections.
Yeah, but everyone check out the Underage Packers podcast. You can find it on iTunes, Spotify. Like, is it everywhere?
Yep.
And they're on Instagram, Twitter. Are you guys on Facebook? You're kind of young for Facebook.
Yeah, we have a Facebook. We don't post about it too much, but if that's your preferred social media, we can post all the time on it.
All right, yeah, because I was gonna look for your page on Facebook when I was talking about you coming on, but I was like, they're like 15. I don't know if 15-year-olds have Facebook. Because my kids always tell me like Facebook ain't cool, like nobody's on there.
Yeah,
but you have YouTube. You can watch. You have full podcast on YouTube, right?
Yep. So we post the video form on YouTube, obviously, and then all those other podcast places for audio.
Yeah, so everyone check them out. They do a great job, you guys. I wanted you to come on so I can learn something. Like usually I have a little more energy. I'm a little tired. This week sucked, and I know for Big B even worse. So I'm not gonna complain. But best wishes to you, Big B. I think I heard you're really tired. You had a long drive.
Yeah.
So get some rest. I appreciate you guys taking the time to come on, and we'll have to do it again sometime.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having us.
Hey, Underage Packers podcast. Everyone, check it out. Go Pack, go!